Oh man, you just see some things in football sometimes and you just think, this is hilarious, this is just, like, where have they got this from? So I saw a stat the other day when I was going through Facebook that basically VAR errors have been reduced by 80% this season, and you think to yourself, wow, that's great, well done, who's compiled this data? The referees! The PGMOL has effectively compiled this data on themselves, and they have said that they have improved. That there's 80% fewer errors due to VAR this season compared to last season. Now this is just Howard Webb, the head of this organisation, basically tooting his own horn and basically saying, look at us, we're doing so much better, we are improved so much, we are great, aren't we? Look at us guys, aren't we doing as well? It's a bit like, I don't know, when like the police or someone like the BBC investigate themselves and they say, we find ourselves innocent of this crime, you know. And it's like, well, of course you will. You're investigating yourself here. It's an internal investigation or whatever. It doesn't really mean anything. If they really wanted to actually make some sort of difference, then maybe they should compile this data or someone else should compile it, and then that should be found. And it's so subjective saying things like mistakes, you know, because there haven't been, I don't think there's been as many mistakes this season, to be honest. I think he is right, there's a reduction, but an 80% reduction this season compared to last. I'm not so sure I believe that, to be honest. There's been some pretty glaring errors at times this campaign. As bad as last season? Probably not, but there's still plenty of time left in this season for that to change. You know, I don't think we've seen anything as glaringly obvious as what we saw with Liverpool and Tottenham last season. I mean, I was listening to it on the radio, and even I could see at that time that that was a wrong call. But in all seriousness, you know, you've got things like the semi-automated offside thing. I think that's coming in November. I think they're planning on doing that, which will really speed things up. What would be more interesting for me is whether the speed of VAR calls have improved this season or not, because I think they have, and that's been a big problem since VAR has been introduced. You know, it's been taking 3-4 minutes to get to the correct decision, and then you've even got knock-on effects such as increased injuries and things like that, because I mean, I've already done some pieces on that as well. You know, we've got an increase in injuries in football for a number of reasons. Things like there being more games, of course, do not help, but I think the longer stop periods during games, I feel like that has been a big factor as well, because you're effectively having to warm up again as a player, and it's very difficult to do that after a 3-4 minute stoppage. And you know, I feel like that's potentially part of the reason why we're seeing more injuries. So, but anyway, getting back onto the actual topic, because I'm digressing here. You know, I like to do that. Going to other topics that's not news here on the Football Chronicle. But yeah, an 80% reduction in VAR. Do you guys buy that? Do you think that's real? Do you believe Howard Webb on this? Because he's just said it. I don't think he's actually produced any sort of data other than just said, yeah, 80% down on last year. Moving on that show. What's the show he does with Michael Owen now? The VAR Watch or whatever it is. And it's just so cringe. It's like when you're watching, for those guys that are into politics like me, it's like when you're watching Prime Minister's Question and you know, you've effectively got someone from the same party saying something to the Prime Minister, and it's the most set up question ever. It's just like, oh, look at us, aren't we great? I'm going to ask you a question where you could just go on about how great we are, because that's what it is, that's politics. But to see it in football like this, it's just embarrassing. So yeah, Howard Webb very much tooting his own horn there. There's still a lot of problems with, as we know, in the Premier League. Whether they're going to be resolved in the next couple of years or not, I don't know. I still don't like VAR personally. I prefer being in the Championship. My team plays in the Championship this season, and if we do get promoted, then one of the things I'm not looking forward to having again is VAR. I'm not looking forward to it at all. But there is calls about them getting VAR in the EFL eventually, which I've done another video about if you guys want to check out my thoughts on that. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what you think about this, guys. Is VAR 80% better this season? Let us know your thoughts. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell as well. And we'll see you very soon. Have a good one, guys.